Alec,
Yes.
we've been waiting an eternity to review this movie. It feels like.
Yeah, I know it's been forever. It's been out for a while too.
Yeah.
It's been out for an eternity.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I just saw it recently.
okay.
And I already forget all the names.
Hey, that's fine.
What
I
does
saw
that
it a
tell
while
you?
ago, and I forgot most of the names except for Ikaris.
Oh, we don't forget Ikaris or Cersei, because Cersei is a Game of Thrones name, and they have Game of Thrones people. It was like, what's going on here?
What's happening? And there's Game of Thrones people in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. They're talking to Cersei
Yeah.
with their same accent, and like Santa Cersei. I know. Cersei kind of cute though.
Who is
Cersei?
Is she the main? Was she the main girl? Okay.
Not cute. So hot take.
Let's. Oh no! I think she's beautiful. Let's get into it though. This movie sucked.
I disagree.
I did not. I won't say I hated it. I did not like this movie at all. I thought this movie was dull, uninteresting.
I liked it.
I did not like this movie.
I didn't love it
one bit.
I don't even know if I want some more of it, considering the end credits scene. But
I want that. That's the most interesting part of the movie.
You want that?
Yeah, that's the most interesting part of the movie. That's an established comic character.
I'm sure, but I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah, he's basically the spoilers for this movie. I don't care. The
Harry Styles, as he's known in the comic book world.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I don't care about that. I'm more talking about the sword.
Why is there always there's so many end credit scenes?
It was like that Ghostbusters. There's two in that.
Did I miss one in this too? No.
You must have missed another one. The Dark Sword, where Kit Harington's character shows up again. You missed that one? Do you just walk out of the theater? Do you not know your lesson at this point with Marvel films? You got to stay until the very end, man.
Wait, Kit Harington did what?
Remember how he says to, right before the end of the movie, he's like, I have a complicated family history?
Yes.
Yeah, that's because he's like an Arthurian. I don't know if it's an Arthurian, but he's like a descendant of something other. So that's like the Black Sword or something like that, or the oh crap, I don't remember what it's called in the comics, but he's like an established comic character. He's kind of like. Shoot, I can't really remember. I can't think of the proper I can't think of the proper comparisons right now.
Some comic book character.
I had a friend sort of explain some of this to me. I was like, yeah, that was kind of cool. I didn't really get what it was, and they sort of explained. I was like, oh, that's great. Too bad that was the most interesting part of the whole movie.
Kit's my dude. He's my guy.
Yeah, he was great. Too bad he was in this movie for
love that guy.
Literally maybe 3 to 4 minutes of total screen time.
Yeah.
He's in the movie at the beginning, and then we basically forget about him. And then there's a little video call that Cersei tries to give him, in the middle, and she's like, you don't have connection, and then we never hear from him again until the very end, the last scene
crystal
of the movie.
Crystal clear quality too, until the instant the connection went out. Oh shoot.
Oh no, I don't have connection. And then it was and then we forget about him until the last scene of the movie
tough.
Again. So
it's tough.
Okay, so you liked this movie. What did you sell me on? You're not going to, but try to sell me on this movie.
I don't know. I feel like here's my score where I was thinking the score before I was going into this.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking 7.5, somewhere between there.
I'm at a 4. I'm at a 4 for this movie. This movie is not good.
Look, it's so different than, and it's not the kind of movie I would usually watch, but it's so different from other Marvel movies, and then it's felt like such a difference. Shang-Chi was a departure in ways. This is even more of a departure, where it was straight up, you got this is so much super weird names and things of other worlds stuff, almost sci-fi, lots of stuff going on there.
So the chief. Okay, so the Eternals
Centurions and
the Eternals are a big sort of all-powerful kind of all sort of knowing group of beings in the Marvel universe. So we've never been introduced to any of them before. And if their entire presence is then having to be explained by like why didn't they do anything with Thanos? They could have stopped Thanos, but they didn't have to. That explanation, I was like, all right, that's fine. I get it. They were told by their chief god thing, whose name I can't remember, like, don't interfere in the wars or the goings on of the planet. Just let things happen. Let evolution basically just take its course for the people. Protect the people, but let evolution and destroy the bad things, but let evolution take its course. It's just like, I get that. Okay, they're like big protectors of the universe or whatever. So that makes sense to me. The other aspect is that you have, as a film, you have to establish all of these characters, and you're going to have to at least get you to care about some of them in order for the movie to work at all. And it doesn't do that at all, except for one character who, with the spoilers, are now official. I didn't like this movie. Zach liked it. I'm gonna go hard on this movie. The only character that I liked is Ikaris because he made so much sense. He's completely right. He's completely in the right in this movie. He's like, yeah, we should just destroy them. Why would we not? It's going to continue life throughout the entire galaxy, throughout the universe. Why would we not do that? And it was like, well, we all feel too bad about the humans now. And it's like, but you're stopping the progress of your entire point of existence. It's like you're defying your own nature. Your God created you to do a specific task, and you were defying your nature. And that's why I was so happy at the end when he came and collected them. He's like, yeah, you're not going to do that again. I'll let you go this time, but you're not doing that again. And I was like, good, punish them because they deserve it. It's wild to me that I came at this movie like I came with an open mind. I knew it wasn't getting good reviews. I knew it was getting kind of lambasted. I was like, well, there might be something here that I like. And sure enough, the thing that I liked was the villain, and I thought the villain was completely justified and in the right. And I just couldn't.
But they were like lied to, right? They were,
yes. But I completely gelled. Well, some of them were lied to. A couple of them knew exactly what was going on. But I jived with it. I was like, I get it. You know, it's like you got to have life continue somehow, and if you're a cosmic being of this sort, it's like I know what the side the movie wants me to be on, but the movie didn't do a good enough job. The script did not get me to actually feel like A, humans were in danger, B, that any of the Eternals really actually cared about humans other than how they made them feel, and 3, just that caring about these characters as people at all. It just didn't do anything to get me to care, and I wanted to. I wanted to. I liked the sort of like the idea of like the main lady where she was like, I'm a teacher and I'm going to help people. And then we learn in the past, it's like, well, she's been doing that for like all of human history. She's been kind of a kind-hearted, nurturing sort of individual. And it's like, I guess I sort of get that with children. She's really fond of children, but that sounds weird out of context, but she's just a complete blank slate. She was terrible throughout the whole movie. She was like, oh, I care about the people. But it was like, she just felt like a complete wet blanket. I just didn't buy her at all. Most of the other characters were just like one-note caricatures. I like the guy who married the dude, and they had a kid together.
Cool.
I liked him.
You like Gilgamesh?
Yeah. He felt like the most like. I was like, there's a character here, and I wish we had spent more time with him because he was not Gilgamesh, but another hero, Phastos. Is his name.
Oh, I forgot. That was like the one name I was forgetting.
Yeah. I also did actually. So I didn't really care all that much about the character Kingo.
Oh, I thought you mentioned him already. I thought you were talking about someone else.
No.
I was like, that guy's cool. Who are you talking about then?
No, Kingo is great.
No, Phastos.
Oh, Phastos.
Because you said the guy who married the other guy.
Yeah, that's Fastos.
So I thought you were talking about someone else. It seemed like you moved on to a different person.
Oh no! I mean, I thought he was. He felt like an actual character to me. Like he wasn't just a one-note caricature. Like there's something. There was something there that they could have done more with, and I just felt like they didn't. Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo, he was just fun and funny.
Fun.
Still a little one-note, but I did like the fact that he was kind of on. He was on Ikaris' side, and I was like, yes, because he's right. You should be on his sides.
Ikaris kind of a little bitch though. He ran into the sun. So.
My problem is just I don't feel the movie did enough to really.
The problem with Ikaris is he flew too close to the sun at the end of the day.
Yes.
So
yes.
Didn't think that
was
through.
That was the reference. I got it. I knew it when the movie did that. I was like, oh.
He just flew himself right in there.
Oh my god, it did that.
What do you think of? What do you think of Sprite? That was an interesting thing.
I have an opinion on this. It might be kind of weird, but I was like, maybe it's just because it's like casting a child who fell in love with an adult character. I get that maybe there's a degree of that's maybe a little weird or squick or whatever, but like these are beings that have been alive for thousands of years. I don't understand why. I don't really understand why Sprite is like too young or off limits to Ikaris or something. Other than the fact that it's like, yeah, in our human conception, she's a child. So obviously that's because that's gross. But these are beings that have been made to exist in the way that they are for thousands of years. But that doesn't mean that they don't grow in any way. I know the god says, oh, I made you to not grow, but it's like we see the characters grow and change and evolve throughout the film. So that I don't really get that necessarily, but I guess I just didn't really understand like what was her dilemma.
They're very human-like in how they operate, though. Like they've fallen right into the like traditions of people on Earth. It seems like the fact that Fastos was just right into like a normal life, fixing bikes and for the sun and stuff, and
the ancient world was okay with having sex with 14-year-olds. Like that was normal.
I know, but we're not there. They're in a different. They are in a different society. Like they're a part of this society. This is like, most of them have become accustomed to like what this is. It seems like,
right?
Like you don't just go and just live a suburban life fixing your son's bike and be happy with that, and it's like you're in a different headspace entirely. So it's like they know they're supposed to be around the same age. They know it's weird that they don't age. They know they have to.
Yeah.
They want to marry or be in relationships with people around their age, you know? So they still have like some, or like what their age appears to be.
I get the trepidation between having relationships with human beings that they would have. I get that because that makes sense. We're never going to die. These people are finite, and we've seen billions of people die.
But these Eternals do sex stuff.
They do.
Right.
That was I laughed the entire way through that scene. It was so awkward. Why did they pick a sand dune to have sex on? You don't have sex on the beach. I'm sorry, but that's
but look, they're doing sex stuff.
Yeah.
So
in the cringiest scene.
But this isn't an underdeveloped. Sprite is underdeveloped, right? So
is she?
It is weird.
No,
she's young.
Is she, though? But she's
very young.
She looks young to us, like because the actress that plays her is like, I don't know, 14, 15 or something. Sure.
Everything else about them is human in every way, except for the fact that they are Eternals and they have superpowers. But everything else is human in every.
Well, except they showed in the interior of their innards, they're basically robots, more or less.
Yeah, but like.
Functionally, I guess they're.
It's human. Just human shit. Functionally, they're human shits.
I guess.
And they're just like alien race, but
we'll just call it we're the aliens. But it's like I don't understand what the dilemma is. Maybe
the dilemma is that she looks young, and
but that shouldn't matter to them.
To them, apparently, it does. They're not. They're clearly attracted to people around their same age because he fell into a relationship with a guy around the same age. She fell into a relationship around the same age. Yeah, it looks.
I'm just saying. I don't buy it. I don't think that's realistic.
It's not realistic. I'm fine taking that liberty. If any liberty you're gonna take, you take that liberty.
So I get it. Like that's what I mean. I understand it completely, but like the way it's sold in the movie didn't effectively convince me that this shouldn't be a possibility. There was nothing really to establish like this can't be a possibility.
See, I thought that was an interesting dilemma. I thought it was
but it's entirely her dilemma.
Yes.
Like we don't know if Ikaris is not into that sort of thing. I'm not into someone who looks underage, you know. But it's like you're something, you know. Yeah. It's like, but that's what I mean. They arrived on Earth.
But why?
They arrived on Earth in a period of time where that was okay. We have established through time, particularly now in the era we're living in, where people don't mature properly based on a lot of different reasons. People don't mature until they're about 18. But that's what we in the United States have decided is the age of consent, which I don't have a problem with at all. But that being said, female bodies were like begin to develop to produce children at a much younger age.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in human history, people were married at much younger ages. People were able to hold a lot more responsibility at younger ages because, hey, all we were doing at that period of time was basically just farming. That was a lot of what we were doing. And when you're farming, I mean, all you got to do is just, you know, produce more children, take after your parents, go off and do your own thing. And when you're like 16, 17, you can go do that in a more ancient culture.
I don't think this
or if you're like a 45-year-old, you'd be like, hey, that child looks cool. And yes, that's gross. But like, that's the thing where it was like,
I don't think you should take issue with this. This has been untested. this has been untested. Having someone live throughout all these time periods and seeing how they cope with that. You know,
how they cope with that.
Society in the beginning to society now. They've been there through it all.
It's just such a weird. It's just a bizarre plot point to even bring up to me. That's the thing. It's like if we're focusing on that as a plot point, you have to raise the question: why is it a problem for them? I don't know. That to me is just like it had to cross my mind because they're the ones presenting that, being like, well, she's off limits, or like, oh,
it's very unsettling and very weird that they would ever that she ends up in this. But why is she look younger than everybody else? You would think there's obviously that dynamic there. There's an insecurity. They make fun of her as like a baby and like.
And she's even like that. Like, why did she make me this way?
Yeah, and that's what the dilemma is. Yeah. Why does she make me this way? Obviously, it sets me apart, and it's not just like, oh, well, you're just a different looking body.
Because she can also like she's the shapeshifter though, so she can like look however she wants. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why, because you're youthful. You're like a sprite, a fairy.
What's an ongoing thing is like it's clearly a full dynamic. Full part of the dynamic of the group is to make fun of her for like looking young.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre. It's a very bizarre. I don't. It's very weird. I don't really.
I think that's not a problem.
Do you think it's not a problem? No, I think it's weird that it's
concerning thing.
No, I think it's weird that it's I think it's weird that it's a focus because it then necessitates that question to be asked.
Like I didn't even like the fact that like, okay, yeah, I guess she loves Ikaris, whatever. Like,
that's what I mean. It's weird.
That's not the weird part. Like
the whole movie's weird.
All right, well, let's get weird with it.
I mean, that's probably as weird as we're gonna get.
Can I just say Angelina Jolie is still hot shit? She's still hot shit.
She's a babe, man. Wow, she's gorgeous in this movie.
Yeah. I actually liked Angelina Jolie in this too.
I didn't care about her character at all. I didn't do anything. Like I get sort of like the hero that's sort of she's past her age and she's undergoing this weird like cybernetic thing where she like loses her mind or something or mm-hmm. I don't know exactly, but it sort of me is like the archetype of the hero that's past their prime, so they're trying to like. Maybe even is like ongoing dementia, so they're like I'll attack you, and so she's like needs to fight, kind of like compelled to do that. I like that, but the character itself is like okay.
It's funny because they kind of throw you in there, and it's like as you're going through these characters and seeing what they're doing, you're discovering the rules of how how their powers work and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, there's no predetermined rules. You're just kind of figuring shit out. Like when you realize that she gets triggered and does this stuff, it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's what she does. I guess that's normal, and you just kind of have to figure it out what they're capable of. Bruig, that's his name, right? Druig.
He's the Irish one that I hated him. I hated him.
You didn't like his love story?
No, I didn't like him at all.
Yeah.
I thought he was awful. I thought he was a terrible character. I hated him. I was like, I wanted them to just kick him down. He's like, we should help them. Mind control them. And then even then he doesn't have the balls to do anything about it. He's like, I couldn't do it. I could only do it with this small group of people to make amends. And I was like, that's what you've been doing for the last 400 years, is just sitting in this stupid little community. I was just like, it just seems so lame. Like that, he stayed stagnant for that long after finally getting fed up with the fact that they couldn't intervene, and then all he does is just stay in the same place. I didn't really buy that, and the fact that he didn't have the cojones to go any further, I just was like, I can't even begin to start caring about this character. It's just like, it's so unlikable.
He was something.
Yeah.
I didn't mind him, but I like he's kind of like the edgy guy, you know. He's kind of like, he was a little edgy.
Yeah.
But he's like, I was talking about his powers, and they kind of.
It's not edgy enough.
They throw
not
you.
Edgy enough for me. I like edgy, but
you want more edgy?
Yeah.
They just kind of throw you into these powers, and they're just doing things, and it's wild because Fastos. He just says things that he does too, and it's like, oh, I guess he can do that now. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go. And then we have the super speed girl who's deaf.
Mm-hmm. I was like, that's kind of neat.
I knew that actress. I knew that actress from The Walking Dead. That's why I knew she would be in there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
She was hitting that. She was a newer character in that show. So I mean, she's neat, but she doesn't do much.
She's in the movie for 5 minutes. She's barely in the movie. It feels like, I don't know.
Selma Hayek's character, I didn't care for. Ajak, she did nothing.
Nothing for me. Yeah.
What I found really funny though is the whole every interaction between Ikaris and Cersei. When they're supposed to be in love and stuff, and he's so robotic with it.
There is zero I don't buy anything. I don't buy anything in that relationship. I didn't get anything from that. I didn't get anything from her and Kit Harington.
You know, I'm in love with you, Cersei.
It's like, I want to actually sweep me off my feet in a romance. Do something.
Make me love you.
That's been a criticism of the Marvel films, that they feel like they're weirdly sexless, but I feel like I probably prefer the way things used to be than this, because this just was trying to be edgy and sexy, but it was nothing about it was all that sexy. I mean, woman who plays Cersei, gorgeous. I think Gemma Chan, I think is her name.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous. She's beautiful. I thought she was terrible in this film, but she's a beautiful woman for sure.
And Ikaris.
A gorgeous man.
He's a gorgeous man.
My God.
Kit Harington's a gorgeous man. So.
Kit Harington. There's a lot of really good looking people in this movie.
Pretty much the whole cast good looking. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
They're
much.
eternal, so you gotta pick a good look to be stuck with forever. You know.
Yeah, Kamal Nanjiani bulked up like crazy for this film, but you don't see him with his shirt off, and I was like, oh, that's too bad.
That's too bad.
I was like, that's too bad. It's like you spent all that work, and all you see is his beautiful arms, but you don't get to see the rippling six pack.
Yeah, no, I did like Gilgamesh though too. Let's not forget, Gilgamesh is the one who had to die.
Was good. Yes,
I knew. I had a feeling it was going to so much leading up to that.
Yeah, there was.
This is the guy. They're making you like him so you can kill him off.
Yeah,
he's
manipulation.
That guy.
Mm-hmm.
I did like his little attachment to Thena. Not to be confused with.
There was
Athena.
A nice little thing going on there. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Athena.
Right.
Athena. Drop the
get
A.
it? Where it's people got it wrong.
But I like that. Just the simple concept of where it's she mentioned later where it's if you care about someone, and you want to protect them. That's the most natural thing. That's what Gilgamesh said to her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I think,
but for me, look, I gave this movie more slack for some reason. Because I didn't take it as seriously. I guess for me, like this whole like super outer space alien creature stuff, when it comes to that stuff, then I'm like, okay, it's not really that serious to me. So then I don't need to be, because there is kind of like a Suicide Squad syndrome to it, to where like it's a bunch of underdeveloped characters together. But for some reason, I was like, I'm here for the ride. It was fun.
But Suicide Squad. Oh, okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Then we won't. I won't even broach that. The problem with that I have with it is that the movie is so damn serious about itself. It is so far up its own ass about how important and heady it is, and there's really nothing that deep or interesting about this film. The movie thinks. And from what I understand, this movie is very popular. It has a very positive user score on Rotten Tomatoes, or at least it did last I checked. And I was like, why? I was like, this movie gave me nothing. And talking with some friends, it seems like it's pretty popular with Gen Z Zoomers, and who maybe think the movie's like deep or something. And I was kind of like looking on like Twitter, just like flipping through some reactions, and people were like, oh my God, I so connected with these characters. They're just so deep and beautiful. And I was like, okay, I think this just has to do with like children watching movie that tries to take itself seriously for the first time and are now finding themselves in something that actually isn't that deep when you look into it and think about it for more than 5 minutes. But I'll give them some slack. They're like teenagers, whatever. You can think that a movie that's, I will give it credit. It was ambitious. I feel like it was really trying to tackle some like big topics about like with free will and determinism, the whole determinism versus free will sort of thing. You have stuff going on with like protectors of Earth, the morality of non-interventionism, and like all this sort of stuff. But the movie just doesn't really ever like come to any sort of solid or offer any actual like substance to any of those things. It just sort of like brushes them. And there's no real like interesting delving or development of it. It's just like, no, our God did the bad thing, so we're gonna protect the humans now for some reason, despite the fact that the character that you were the most close to was somebody who believed in the God that you're disobeying now, which is weird. I did not like it. I couldn't really connect with any of the characters other than at a surface level, except for the bad guy, which I got his motivation. I got it. It made complete sense to me, because especially when the protagonists, the good guys, aren't giving me a genuine like solid reason as to why we should defy our nature. Like, why? The human beings are, they're nice and everything, but like, think you're not you've discovered you're probably not the only people out here doing this. Mm-hmm. So your God has seeded the entire universe to do this, but to continue to propagate life throughout the universe. And you're going to stop that? What's the good reason? Because it lied to you, even though it did eventually tell you the truth?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's good enough reason, but it didn't really present it as like much of a, now it lied to us, now we got to defy it. It was just sort of like, yeah, I get lied to us, I guess. That wasn't very nice of it. But we got to protect the humans now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they grew attached to them. The fact that like
they were attached to them in the BCs. If they were attached to them back then, they didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. They lived for thousands of years, and they were able to hold fast to the non-intervention.
Yeah, but
stuff
that's different than like no more. Like the end, it's different. and I kind of liked the fact that they were rallying together, and I like the differing opinions. They all had different perspectives. Dude, Fastos just wanted to. He's here for his family, bro. For his family.
Yeah, I
maybe
like
they got soft, but
I do like the fact that there was genuinely different positions. I like that because it felt right, for the sense that like the goddess big huge massive thing, which I really like the design of that thing, by the way. That thing's cool. Created them specifically to fulfill certain roles in society to help guide it along its natural course. And I like the fact that it did, because it makes sense. It creates something. So okay, so also, I guess the big thing, it did create the things that are killing the humans too, I guess, but that was a mistake because it was killing the humans. It wasn't intending the creatures to do that. So yeah. It created the Eternals as something that couldn't evolve, beings that couldn't evolve, but could interact with the humans more, like less primally, more on their level. And he sent them out to wipe out the dark creatures in order to. I mean, I just don't know. That makes sense to me. It makes sense that would do that. Like, it seems like a good thing that they were sent to kill the monsters that are killing people. But it's, I guess, the ultimate reason is that they don't like why. I don't know. I felt like there could have been just so much more interesting things done with the script. Like, maybe there would be some characters that are like, we shouldn't fight them anymore. Just let them take care of the humans. Then I was like, if we're gonna defy our fate or nature, at least do it in a way that, I don't know. I like stories where characters try to overcome a sort of a fate, should you could say. I just, but this didn't do enough to like really convince me of their side, and so I had no choice but to side with Ikaris in the end. So
hashtag Team Ikaris.
Yeah.
By the way. Yeah. Well, maybe that's part of the narrative here. Was Ikaris right all along? You can have that debate for yourself. Ikaris is dead, though.
Yeah,
or something.
He's dead.
Who knows? He'll be back.
He's blowing up in the sun, so I don't think he's coming back.
Out. Next movie, he'll be out. He'll be hot, even hotter.
He'll be even more gorgeous. Wow, I can only dream.
But see, as much as they are underdeveloped characters, I actually I found myself liking most of them. Like I enjoyed the different dynamics they added to it much more than I enjoyed like the original Suicide Squad and what they did. You know, they were much less remarkable to me in that one, but I did find it funny, some of the weird things like the robotic interactions between the Ikaris and Cersei, and
wow, look at the chemistry.
Yeah. So I definitely didn't think it was a stellar movie by any means.
No. But
I enjoyed it. You know, it was 2 hours and 37 minutes. That scared me going into it. I was already like, oh, that's a long movie.
Yeah, it felt. I've seen plenty of long movies recently. No Time to Die is like bordering 3 hours. Also, that movie does not feel like that. Dune, same thing. Movie does not feel like that. Movie feels like it's like an hour and 45 minutes. That movie's awesome. This movie felt like it was like 4.5 hours long for me. I could not wait to get out of the theater. I was like, yeah, it was rough.
Fair enough, but final score for me is going to be 7. It's a 7 out of 10.
I'm trying not to be like, because there are aspects of I like it. I do like the fact that it was trying to do something. I just think it failed miserably in all aspects. There were some characters that I liked. Costuming was kind of cool, I guess. You know, special effects were fine. I mean, special effects are fine and everything, but yeah, it's like I think I gotta stick to my guns and just say it's a 4. It's a 4 for me. It just did not. I didn't jive with it. I wanted to try to give it more credit than it seemed critics were giving it, but no, they're kind of spot on with this one.
Well, that gives us a Tarqaron score of 5.5 out of 10, right?
Yep. That's
pretty good. That's a pretty good score, huh?
Yeah, it's oh boy, I really want to go out and see that again. I never want to see that movie again.
It did not feel like a Marvel movie at all. Oh, I almost forgot. Superman.
Oh yeah, they mentioned Superman in this, yeah, which is kind of weird.
Is that not a big deal? Superman exists in the universe?
I guess it is. I
Confirmed?
don't know. No, he just maybe it's just as a comic character. I didn't think he.
I don't like that either, though.
I didn't either.
Superman has to exist in some way. It exists canonically in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. Superman exists.
Yeah.
He's Superman.
Them trying to like hold the door open for a crossover, which I never really want to have happen because I think
it's
that
going to be
sounds
the expanded
like a
Marvel DC Cinematic Universe.
the crossover event of the century. The biggest crossover in history.
That just took me back because like you can't just say Superman. Superman's not just like a type of superhero. It's like that is specifically Superman because he's got the laser eyes.
They specifically mentioned him like Superman. Like the character Superman, not like he is a Superman, but
and he said he doesn't have a cape or something. They even said that.
Yeah.
So
okay. I guess. Huh. I guess maybe he's like a character. That's what I mean. I think is he like a comic character in this universe or something?
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, DC characters are just comic book characters.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny idea.
They are the comic book characters. Because there's not comic books about the real superheroes, so you can't have Marvel comic books. They have to be all the DC ones. So do you
know a light spoiler for Hawkeye, which I actually haven't even started watching yet, but I do know one.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay, I won't tell you.
But that's snuck up on me so fast.
If you don't want to know, I won't tell you. But if you do, I think it's great, and I want to. I do want to say. Don't tell you. Okay, I'll leave it as a surprise. There's a cool thing about that. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it though.
But that series snuck up on me, dude. It was like
I know
the other day. I was like, we didn't even plan to do this. Like,
no,
we got to plan when we're gonna talk about that now.
Yeah,
it just popped up.
Well, they're releasing it in increments like they've done everything else. So.
Eternals. This is also a movie I probably wouldn't have seen if we weren't going to review it because it just didn't even seem interesting to me from the trailer.
No,
from the jump.
And boy, that rang true for me. I was.
It's not like I don't feel like
I'm looking forward to Kit Harington coming back. I'm excited about that. I think he's great. He just was not. He wasn't anything in this movie. So.
I enjoyed it, but obviously I'm not like my life has not been changed for having seen it. So take it or leave it for me.
Zach, what would you recommend people go watch after they finish this review? Watching us now.
You got to go watch our review of Good Will Hunting.
Wow, that's a deep cut right there. That's one of our favorites. That was the first. Was that the first film we reviewed? No, the first film we reviewed was Avengers Endgame.
That's right.
But that was like the first like, what are we gonna do for this channel? Sort of thing that we did.
Is it?
Kinda, yeah. We were just sort of like
wicked, young, evil, vile.
I guess that was actually probably more. I guess that was actually more. Yeah.
Good Will Hunting is like actually one of my favorite movies now. It's like up there, like maybe top 5, legitimately. Yeah. And we watched it because of this channel. You know,
deserving movie. I mean, for me, I would put Silent Voice extremely high for me. In terms of animated films, I would say it's probably in like top, if not top 10, if not top 5, at least top 10.
There's a lot of movies from this channel that I'm like, are some of my favorites now. Godfather.
Godfather, yeah. Oh, yeah. Godfather Part 2 are like way up there for me now, too.
Yeah.
So good. Eternals is not up there. I'm sorry.
Eternals. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And like us on Facebook. Tarqaron, TWO. All right.